Welcome, Kichos, Lise, Dylan, the radio. Good to see you, brother. Been a long time, but good to see you back. Abby, also good to see you. We have some wild price action. Welcome, Astral as well. Typical range price behavior with a lot of scammy moves, but I did not expect a full retrace of that push, to be honest. But we got it. At least I did not take a trade, so I did not lose money. Although I fumbled a ETH short from this morning, but I will discuss that in a minute. Welcome, Arnold, as well. I haven't really checked the charts last few hours. Only on my phone a bit, that we started to come into my demand POI, but we just nuked right through it, so there was no entry confirmation or anything. So no longs taken right here. I think I always say, like, you want slow moves and then structure. That can give entry triggers. This is the exact opposite. This is like fast nuke. And this can be it's very challenging price action, because this morning I already mentioned how we have that slow price coming down, which can be nice if you get a clean bullish break. Then you can look for longs. But if you don't get that, then this can also be just a slow bleed, which in this case it was a slow bleed, because here you bam. And then everyone that has limit orders and buy orders in this level, they just get wiped out instantly, causing a lot of sell pressure, as you can see with this volume. That's why I always personally like to see the reaction and then enter and not limit in, because then you can be part of nukes like this. Welcome, Jupa van Rooyen, Jupa Joseph. Welcome, Mike, as well. Did we break the 4-hour break structure? I don't know. Within a range, you can you don't have like super clean structure in general. So like the most cleanest structure here is this local downward structure, lower high, lower low, lower high. So this can be the lower low again, but then you come with like local downward structure is now reaching our high time frame upward structure. So the reaction in this zone will be super important, because our 4-hour bullish market structure is still this one. So it can still be the bullish idea. However, a strong push like this and then a full retrace is not especially, it's not really showing strength or anything. Basically the opposite, because everyone that bought here is now already out of the position. So this is typical crypto fuck everyone kind of price action. But yeah, I said no trades taken. I was watching this demand, but price never gave any move. So the only thing I'm watching right now for the coming days will be very important what we do here. We did take out this low now as well, right there. So that liquidity has been taken, in which technically this can still be 1, 2, and that we are here in the process of potentially tap 3 and then go up. Also, because we have the 4-hour bullish market structure still below us, and we don't have clear distributive behavior. So it's still rounded like lower highs. So that makes still a case that we go back to the highs. However, the way we come down into the third tab right now, this is not what you want to see. So the only way I will be interested in longs from now on is if we from here come up, test that supply, and then slowly come back down. Then give a clean pulse, and then we can play the model 1. Basically this catapult. This will then be the idea. But for that we need to see a lot of development, because this is the opposite of what you want. This is a lot of strength by the bears. So what can also happen is that you come into here and then sell off. So shorts from here are also not out of the possibilities. So it depends what we're gonna do. I quickly want to look what the order flow is doing, because that should be pretty wild. Yeah, look. Yesterday we had that local accumulation long, the absorption low right there, where we, or at least I was very close to taking long, did not take it, unfortunately. But from there, open interest ramped up very strongly. So a lot of new positions got opened. And you can now see that open interest is lower than it was yesterday. So all positions that have been opened in this move have now been wiped out. So a lot of people have been wrecked, which you can also see with the CVD, also fully nuked. And spot also started to sell off right after hitting the top. So a lot of people have been burned badly with this move. We left some single prints on the way down. So I will not be surprised to now see price give a pretty strong reaction back up. But I never like to trade falling knives. So I'm not interested in trading this. But what I would like to see, as explained, is move into supply, can look for shorts here, and then see if we get that solid third tab, break structure, and then long it from here back to new highs. Pretty clean plan. And the whole week we have been talking about this range, and this is pretty clean. We had a clean range. But right now it also shows that in a range you can get crazy choppy price action. Because first we had it move down here, below the value area low, and we came back into the value area, pushed back, deviated the value area high, and are now back below it. So this is like mega chop. And that is also the purpose of a range, to fuck most participants out of their positions before choosing a direction, because every range has a purpose. Either to continue the trend, aka reaccumulate and then go higher, or the purpose of the range is to distribute and then nuke it. However, you don't know how long the range will take, so it can also just range here for longer. That could also happen. Let's see. Like the current distance between these steps is pretty short. So what could also be the case is that this is step 1. This is step 2, these combined. That we then get that move up, and that the third tab needs to be formed. I think that makes more sense. And then have that liquidity trail and then go up. This is still my main idea. However, if we break 4-hour back to bearish, then this becomes much more likely. So let's see what happens. I need my local ranges and stuff. Right now, this is, yeah, this needs time. A lot of time. I've had my first full stream again. Good. Good to see you back. I hope everything is good with you and your family. Can you share your MMT layout? Yes. Are you in the? Yeah, you can. If you are in the Discord, I will send my layout in the public chat. I don't think you are in the premium. You should look into the premium though. But I will share it after the stream. If I don't do it, remind me. Then I share my setup there. Yeah, I will send it there. Welcome, Sido. Good to see you. Yeah, so the plan for BTC is pretty clean. However, shorts got wiped out, longs got wiped out. Most of the time, that means that you get choppy price action afterwards. So that's what I'm expecting. This morning, I took a ETH short, a scalp, because I was, let's see, I was talking about that move on BTC this morning when the point of control was higher up. At that moment, it was here. And then we had this move where I was already said, like, if we get the lower high there, I'm interested in shorts. But BTC looked pretty strong. So at that moment, I was looking at ETH as the weaker pair. And I took the short there, scalp short, so not a clean setup. But it was here, where we basically had a strong daily high. And from there, the VWAP has been resistance, as you can see. So here it has been resistance again. And then here, price came down and then shot higher. Basically deviated above the VWAP. And since there, the VWAP has been resistance again. So I took a short, because on BTC I did not see the setup. But on ETH, I saw this as the potential manipulation to take some liquidity before reversing lower. Also because this move from the lows, like this is just liquidity. This looks super weak. There's no demand or anything in this move. So then if you reverse, this is a magnet for price to come back to. So I took a short on the loss right here, stop loss at that high. And then target was new lows for like 3.5 R. So that was a super nice trade, but because it was not a clean setup, there was no clean breaker structure in this level. There was not a tree drive as I want to normally see, not a clean range formation. So then I want to be risk-free as soon as possible. So guess what I did? I went risk-free, got stopped out to the dollar, and then price continued in my direction. And I had my TP below this low, so it would have been close to a 4R. Would have been a nice scalp, beside the fact that I've been stopped out at break even. So just for transparency, again, not a winning trade here. Right now, ETH tapped into the demand. We have been waiting for a very long time. So now it's going to be key to see what happens. Technically, it's 1, 2. This can now be the third tap. You can also watch this as a new range, where this is then the second tap. This is more the sideways. So kind of looking at both, but this is also valid because we have high, low, tap 1, tap 2, tap 3. So if price can hold around here and give some structure, then I'm still looking for longs from this area. Basically because this is an inflection point. You need to hold this demand or it starts to look very ugly. But I would be surprised if we nuke down while having all this buy side liquidity still above with those equal highs, that single high right here, equal highs, and then liquidity to the downside. So here I also think that it's a nasty move, but I still think we can get a reversal from here back to the highs and from there distribute and then go down. But let's see, ETH price action overall has been yeah, horrible to say the least. So that is the main pairs. USDT, also obviously the same chop where we had that move into the highs yesterday. took out the range high, but just front-ran that supply POI, then had a strong sell-off, taking out some sell-side liquidity, and right now a super strong move back. Now it tapped into the supply, so key area here for USDT as well, where we have been talking about it. This is either the local redistribution before lower, which I still think is most likely, because we have these lows stacking up and those single prints have never been taken. So I think if we gonna see a full reversal higher, that we at least need to accumulate down here and then get that potential rotation back all the way to the range highs. But for now, we need to see what happens here. So either this can already be tap 3 in the making, where we have tap 1, 2, 3, model 1 distribution, and then go down. But the way you come into your third tap is always very important. And this is super strong. So you basically don't have any structure to confirm the breakout structure. So this is showing a lot of strength. So I have to see how this develops. Most important level still is the 4-hour bearish structure, which is low, lower high, lower low, lower high, low is low. So this is our 4-hour bearish structure. Meaning if we get above that 4-hour bearish structure, then in my opinion, we have to adapt that the low can already be in and that the model 1 is in play. And then the target is the opposite side of the range, right there. But until then, this can still be a redistribution before lower, which is still my, to me, most likely. But we have to adapt if it changes. I would be surprised if this is the bottom with how we form it. Makes more sense to me if you get back, then take the low, take it again, and then you have like a super good bottom right here, and then you have the fuel to get that sustainable move higher. But yeah, not here to make predictions. We should just monitor the levels and see if we get above the deviation threshold, which is the red line here, and then the 4-hour mark structure just above. So alert there. And on the way up, this is the demand that was created. So you can also watch, if you come back, how does price react there, which is also your internal structure. High, higher low, higher high. So you can basically not confirm this as your third tap until you break this low. So looking locally strong, but let's see. Welcome, Rise Baby, and welcome, Matt. Slatan as well. Welcome. Do you prefer moving stop loss to break even instead of taking a partial? Depends a lot on per setup. Sometimes I also take a partial and then let the stop run. But in this case on ETH, I think you talk about the ETH scalp. It was not a setup I really like. If I have like a local tree drive, a Model 1 or Model 2 distribution, or Model 1 in a Model 2, or any of the models we know, then I trust my stop loss. In this case, it was none of that. So then I like to just be risk-free very quickly. Okay, let's discuss first the the award winning this week for most fucked chart of the week. Guess who it is? Everyone knows it probably. Or at least everyone in the premium should know. Gold. So it's close to sweeping that low. I was looking for shorts into that low, but we did not get it. But let's clean up the chart. Let's keep that one on. We were watching this range. Let's delete that one. Range high. Basically range low. Then we took out the high, took out the low. So this has been the range. Oh, range high deviation, and here we had low, took out the low, and we had that demand, 10-minute demand here, where we were watching. If we come into it, then it can be a long back to the highs. We have been watching for that since Tuesday, but then we started this crazy chop, like the biggest chop we have seen lately, where nothing happened. But if we went on the lower time frame, it actually gave a distribution right here. Let's clean this up. So we're trending lower, and here we had range low, tap 1, tap 1, tap 2, and then here tap 2, tap 3, so model 1, broke internal to bearish right there, and then it took extreme liquidity there. So this was the model 1 into model 2 distribution, and I hoped to see it had the purpose of distributing it here to tap into this demand, then break structure and then go up. However, I was already a bit cautious, because if you form a local redistribution so close to the PY, then yeah, it can also be a signal that they want to distribute it down. And then we yesterday evening also came down pretty heavily here. So at that moment I knew, okay, it's not looking all too good, and I'm not gonna lose sleep over this setup, because it can also just chop again. So I decided not to take any entry or whatever, also because we did not have any structure in it. And then this morning I woke up and it fully nuked. So the setup we were watching has never been validated, so also not a loss or anything. But yeah, it would have been clean if we got the entry here. For example, this, and then broke to bullish. Then I would have loved to play this 1, 2, 3 setup. But instead we just nuked down after this redistribution, failed to reclaim the local range, sold off, and as I said, from here to here, you basically only had gaps. So here you can also see how price reacted to that. Just super quick nuke down. Where this was some demand, and below that also only sell side liquidity. So right now it looks pretty bearish. I don't see a clean setup, but if we zoom out, you can potentially watch, oh, like high time frame, this is still the main range to look. But locally, you can see how it develops. It's very early stage potential range, so not a good one at all. Because this is not how a good range looks. You need to see, preferably you take the low, then come back up, spend time here, then it's starting to look like a good range. Right now it's only very early. But yeah, not really, not seeing any good setups on gold for the foreseeable future. So it needs further development. So I just have alerts at the low here in case this is now basically our lost range. So if you come back for this level, it can potentially be a short area. Beside that, I'm not really interested in trading gold until it develops nicely. So that's gold, and then let's go over the others. Hype. Hype, interesting. So yesterday we were watching for that model 1 accumulation idea. The 1, the 2, the 3. But we never got an entry confirmation, unfortunately. Because here we took the low, quite a lot of aggressive selling, and then came back in the range. So this was for me the sign that this can already be the low. So here I was watching, do we get any entry confirmations here to play that model 1 accumulation. And in hindsight, if you zoom in, you actually got a reaccumulation right here. With this being your local reaccumulation range, 1, 2, 3. This is basically your fourth, and then break, break, break. However, getting an entry was impossible because this was a 1 minute candle. So unfortunately, no entry. But clean to see that the model 1 played out. And let's see. Like in the chat, someone asked that this is not a good return to zone. To me, this is textbook return to zone. If someone would ask me what's a good return to zone, this is a good return to zone. Why? Because there's no supply created. Like if you come down, so, and then aggressive move down, then you create supply in the lower highs, which is likely that you go down. Here you get also supply. So then if price comes down, likely sell off again. Right now you have no supply created and only lower highs. Constantly lower highs, where it's basically one big liquidity trail. And then the moment you break structure, the short orders, everyone that's shorted in this move, the short order turns into a buy order if it gets stopped out. So here, first shorts get stopped, they turn into buy orders, push price higher, new shorts get stopped, push price higher, new shorts get stopped, and then you don't even need a lot of buying because all the shorts do the job themselves. And then you get those super fast reversal, as you have seen here. This is textbook because the reaction afterwards, this is also the snowball effect. So super clean move. What was it? Yeah, 20% move. It's crazy. And if you look at the daily, the high time frame trend is always leading. So from the low up, you have high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So until proven otherwise, this can all be higher low, higher high territory, which is most likely because that's your leading trend. If you then get an accumulation in an uptrend, that is where you want to focus on. So it's super clean, but just unfortunate that I did not get an entry. And now price took the highs. So it can potentially be a distribution range, but context-wise, it's still super low probability that we distribute here. It can happen, but if you ask yourself, what does this show? This is pure strength. So don't think it has to be a short because I'm too late for longs. This is bullish until proven otherwise. Also, it's holding above the value area high or around the value area high. So here it's important. Like if you break, like now, I already said you want some high time frame candles below it. Just a 15-minute candle below the value area high is not enough. You want to see a few higher time frame candles like the 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. And then see if you get acceptance under your value area. That would increase the probabilities of this potentially being distribution. But for now, it is holding where it needs to, in which this can just be a successful retest before higher as well. Also, there is no structure in this move to confirm a bearish boss. There's 1 hour structure. Yeah, so 1 hour broke back to bearish, but given high time frame trend, that's not super significant. You can watch for this supply though. But for now, look at these candles just below the value area high. This is where buyers are defending it. Exactly where they should, at the value area high. So I think this can go back. If you have clear weakness here, you can look for shorts. But overall, I think a lot of people will be looking for shorts here because that's the general consensus always. The strongest asset, people always want to short the strongest asset because it seems like that has the most downside potential, which is a mental flaw. It's the strongest asset for a reason. So yeah, I'm gonna put an alert here. Could potentially give a short, but overall, I think it's going against every trend to short it. And also for distribution, it should have more time. If you get this, more time, and then go for your third tap, then the big players have had time to distribute if they wanted to distribute it. But here, yeah, you can look for short scalps down, but it's not a swing. Will be a swing trade, most likely. What happened to Tau? Made new lows, currently in demand. Let's see. Don't really like this range anymore. So let me clear it up a bit. Currently in this demand, and this is high time frame, pretty clear break. Let's see how high time frame it is. So right now I'm looking like this is the structure. Basically main structure high, higher low, higher high. So mainly looking what is the last high that brought us into that new high, which is this low. And then watching what is the highest time frame. We have 2 consecutive candles going down, which we have on the 18-hour, not on the daily. So 18-hour is the highest time frame. And that also gave a break of structure. So it's pretty significant break of structure. And right now you also see, so this is not a clean range. I'm not going to look at it from that range perspective anymore. More like, let's see. Do I like this as a range? Let's see. Technically, this can be the range. Then it will be a long, long range. But it makes sense to me. Like this is a horrible lows. Maybe this is the mega range. Who knows? I'm gonna keep it on the chart, but more locally, because I'm mostly interested in just lower time frame trades. What are the levels? Yeah, locally it's pretty strong downtrend. This can also be just low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, new lower low in the making. So currently are in a downtrend. After this 18-hour breaker structure. So then you want to, yeah, don't fight the trend. You can draw an anchored view up, for example, to see the local downtrend from this last high. And then just respect the trend until you get a clean range. So maybe if you get backtests of this level, it can give shorts. I'm not sure, is there supply? Um, 4 hour, we have supply right here. And this supply got mitigated yesterday. Right there. we have 3 hours supply right here. Two hour, 1 hour, 45. Yeah, I would look for shorts. Into proof otherwise is now a downtrend. So they can look to trade with the trend. Still would like to see like the same as always, 3 drive into supply, look for shorts. For longs, you now need like a really clean range to form. So that can be either this high and then sideways, and then play the range as always. But locally, cannot ignore that this looks pretty bearish. So that is the view on the pairs basically. Let's see what BTC is. Yeah, BTC. I think for the next few days, also weekend coming up, I would not be surprised to see price just range between these levels. And then coming week, it will be super important to see if we hold 78K, which is our 4-hour structure. Break below that, and this could be the top range. Although it would be a very, very sketchy top range because you have no distribution at all. You more of like leaving highs behind. So it will be a very sketchy one. Into proof otherwise, I still think we will make new highs. But if we break 4-hour structure, then I'm gonna adapt to it and then just look for shorts. Also here, this is an inflection point again. So if you come into here, you can look for shorts. Then if you come back down, those shorts can turn into longs here if you get confirmations, and then trade it the other side. Because this is key level for bears basically, and this is key level for the bulls. So reactions there will be super important. But as said, you right now have strong up, slow, strong down. Most of the times, or you get quick continuation, which I don't think we get right now, or you enter a chop where both sides, like people get aggressively long, people get aggressively short, and you just form a new range before expanding up or down. So I think for the next few days, especially looking at the past weekends, price action on BTC has been dead. So I would not be surprised to see, when is Sunday? Yeah, till Monday, which is right here. Till Monday to see just sideways price action. Let's see the chat. I want to go back to the range low for Tau Wee and the ugly daily. Unfinished candle, 248. Ah, yeah. That's definitely an ugly candle. Wasn't that, did we not have a weekly unfinished? Yeah, like the one before, we have a weekly unfinished. So that's funny. Then we have daily unfinished and weekly unfinished. And it also aligns with what I saw on the lower time frames. That this is just a horrible bottom. Like you don't form lows like this. This is all liquidity. And there we also have the daily unfinished and the weekly unfinished. So sooner or later, this is going to be taken. And it's just above the range low. If this is our new range, which could very well be the case, then yeah, it makes a lot of sense to take it out, form tab 2, and from there watch for accumulations. If the purpose is to accumulate. Okay. Are there any questions or anything? Otherwise, this week, I'm gonna end the week, but this week has been a week of patience, a lot of choppy price action, a lot of potential setups which never got confirmed. So I only took a few trades, like very little compared to the previous weeks. But that's also just part of trading. Not every week you get a lot of trades. And most important is during these weeks to not start forcing trades or acting or changing systems just because you don't get the setup. This is part of the game. Next week you can have maybe 20 setups again. But some weeks you don't have any setups, some weeks a few, and some weeks too many. So that's just part of it. And I think overall we handled it pretty well. I think if you see this price action, I think a lot of people did way worse. Because this is a dead range. They did it exactly what they want with the range is to wipe as many people as possible. And that's what they did, especially last 2 days. May has been a month of patience for me. Yeah. Oh, and the 248 on Tau is also monthly unfinished. Crazy. Yeah, then it's a massive magnet to trade towards. So swing shorts or at least shorts on Tau for the time being can also be interesting. So let's see how that develops and how that relates to Bitcoin. But then yeah, can get interesting, especially coming week with how BTC is looking, how USDT is looking, and how some alts are looking. So first 2 weeks of May have been pretty slow, but maybe the next 2 weeks can get wilder. Let's hope for it. Seldom take so less trades. Yeah, same for me. I think it has been a very slow week, but still a good week for to learn the good habits, which is most important. And better to take less trades or very little trades and not a lot of losses than be aggressive in this environment, because then you took a lot of trades, but probably a lot of losses. So I think we did well. Thanks, Kijos, as well for the support again, and everyone. Amazing week again, although not a lot of trades, but the vibes and everything was again top notch. So thanks for that, the good energy, the activity during the streams, in the Discord itself, and now I wish you all a good weekend. Don't stare at the charts all weekend. Better to enjoy the weekend, and then next week we grind again. So happy weekend, everyone, and I'll speak to you in the Discord and during next stream Monday. Cheers and trade safe.